There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
So if your shop is doing DSP and you haven't heard of Audiotec Fischer yet, then dare I say you've been living under a rock. Now, what you may not know is Audiotec Fischer is actually the family brand. It represents 3 other brands, and we're going to be talking about all 3 brands today. We're talking about their highest end, which is Brax. Then we have their intermediate, which is Helix, and an OEM solution brand called Match. And they've got brand new product. That's right, announcing right here on CMA Showcase, presented by SiriusXM. This episode is all about the Audiotec Fischer family of DSP products, and it starts now. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of CMA Showcase, where we're talking about brand new product. And of course, we're deep into the middle of the DSP sessions all July long. That's what we're covering, digital sound processing. And we've landed on a brand called Audiotec Fischer. This show, of course, brought to you by SiriusXM, and I'm your host, Ben Wu. And for the next hour or so, we're going to uncover some brand new products from the Audiotec Fischer family. And in order to do such a thing, we're going to have to rely on our good friends over at MSC America, the exclusive North American distributors for all things Audiotec Fischer. And first, we're going to go to their president, who I believe is on the road. His name is Larry Penn. Larry, where are you? Come on in.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
Oh, I obviously can tell you are not at your normal headquarters, neither in Calgary nor in Arizona. Please tell me where you're coming in from.
I'm at the wonderful Boulevard Customs in Lakeland, Florida. So Mr. John and Magic Mike back there. And I'm with Dustin Daigle, our guy who's handling all the Eastern Regional stuff for us. So we're doing some one-on-one cultural stuff and training and DSP stuff because that's what we do.
Absolutely. Legendary MSC training, Larry himself on the road. That's great. Let's bring in also our expert who will be presenting a lot of the products today and giving us a little training on it. I call him the DSP cowboy. I'm not sure if he likes that yet, but we're going to go with that. His name is Chris Van Rye, and he is the specialty dealer development guy for MSC. What's going on, Chris?
Living the dream, Ben. How are you?
Oh, man, excited. We're talking DSP and we're talking brand new product. And one thing I want to just mention here for those that are tuning in, this is actually a part one of a 2-part presentation from Audiotec Fischer. This one, we're going to focus predominantly on hardware and the latest hardware that's coming out. And don't forget to tune in. We're going to circle back with Team MSC when we actually do a workshop, and they're going to walk through their brand new rendition of their software and give you all the tips and techniques that you'll need to know. Okay. Tell you what, Larry, big question for you. Seen some news come through the timeline and on Facebook. Apparently, the MSC family has grown yet again, and you've added some new members. Can you go ahead and share that news with us?
Yeah, so everybody is getting a little concerned over the marketplace of what's going to happen in Q3 and Q4 and in the next year. And that's the opportune time for us to put the gas pedal down and really support our dealer base. So we're super excited. Our team has been tireless for the past 4 years of putting in all the effort humanly possible and sometimes inhumanly possible. And I got to thank our team for that. So to add a little relaxation to that, if you want to call it that, is we've added Mr. John Covenants, past president of Handcrafted Car Audio. So John will be joining us in our specialty dealer development team, assisting Chris in trainings and on-road trainings, and he'll also be part of our Systems by MSC development team. And then we're also super excited to have Nick Edmonds join us. And Nick was the lead tech for John and Handcrafted for many, many years, and super talented guy. And Nick will be part of our specialty dealer support team. So he'll be the smiling face that's coming out and setting up all our displays and tech support and anything that supports our dealers to become better at what they do. So we can show our true partnership with that. So we're pretty ramped up. John's going to be doing a lot of stuff outside of the industry too. Many of you that have been to Knowledge Fest have seen him speak on his personal development stuff and everything. So he's going to be doing some of that for himself. An amazing guy, been super loyal, super real, and both him and Nick just fit our culture perfectly because they are retail specialty independent guys that have been doing it for a long time and understand what our dealers need in the trenches to support them. So a little different avenue than most people think, but for us it makes total sense for our culture.
Well, welcome to the new team members. And Chris, rejoice. A little bit of help on your end. How's that? A little bit
That's
of
going to let us do more stuff.
There you go. All right, let's get into it, guys. What's that?
We got to get him a cowboy hat.
Oh, we do. DSP Cowboy. I'm working on it. All right. Let's get into it. Guys are tuning in because they want to know about the hardware. They want to know about the gear. Audiotec Fischer's got some cool stuff that's just about to drop. Before we do that, let's kind of establish the landscape, shall we say. Larry, when it comes to DSP, just how vast or wide is that offering from Audiotec Fischer across all brands?
Yeah, there isn't a need or product category that we cannot address with our DSP. We've been involved with the product now for a little over 4 years. And as most of you know, I've been involved in the DSP game for many, many, many years longer than that. And this product stands on its own 2 feet, kicks the door down and says, I'm here. And the reliability and the ease of use and the dealer level satisfaction, and most importantly, the end user satisfaction, the product not coming back, is a unbelievable relief for us. So our job, Audiotec Fischer, Julian and Gudrun and Heinz and the team there have done exceptional things to help us get to market with something that is totally different than anything else on the market right now.
Okay. And when it comes to the new product announcements, Chris, can you give us a hint or give us an overview of what we're in for today?
Well, one of the cool things about Audiotec Fischer is they just refuse to sit still. They're constantly in development, whether it's something new or evolving or changing. With everything being in-house the way it is, it doesn't matter if it's hardware, software, firmware, marketing, branding, training, everything happens in-house, and these guys are just full throttle at all times. So we're going to cover off a few different things while we're just kind of honing in on the DSP category. We're going to lean in on 3 really cool products today that we're going to start seeing shipping here in the next couple of months kind of thing, maybe even a little quicker than that. So we're really excited to touch on expanding the amplified DSP line as well as standalone DSP. So we'll dig in there for sure.
Hard to believe there's actually more being added to an already very, very deep lineup, might I say. All right, guys. Larry, we're going to let you to it. Looks like you've got an audience waiting for you to train them. Any last message before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want everybody to understand some of the subtleness of, well, maybe not so subtle, of Chris's presentation today, and understand how that can aid in the install bay with the things that we're doing. It's super, super important to be efficient, predictable, and profitable with every job you do. And I think we have the solutions that are going to answer that for you, and Chris is going to bring those to light. So we're going to kick off our training today with CMA Network. We're going to sit back, have a Red Bull, and watch Chris go to work.
You do know Sue watches this, right? Just kidding. I'll tell you what. All right, we got a video that kind of reminds everybody the roots of what Audiotec Fischer is all about in Germany. We're gonna play the video. When we come back, Chris, we're gonna give you the stage to present to us all this new product. Here we go.
Passion for music, the search for the ultimate sound, enthusiasm for what is technically feasible. Audiotec Fischer stands for high-end car audio made in Germany, with reputable suppliers who manufacture according to Audiotec Fischer's specifications, made with hand-selected components to the highest standards.
If you want to have high-end results, you have to use high-end components without any compromise.
Measured by lowest tolerances, handmade, and signed for the highest quality.
The innovative DSP technology and the combination of premium components is indispensable in future.
Audiotec Fischer develops plug-and-play systems that raise the sound in the car to the highest level. If you want to have high-end sound in the car, you have to adapt the built-in components optimally to the car's interior. With this claim, Audiotec Fischer became the world market leader. It stands for state-of-the-art car audio. Audiotec Fischer, car audio with passion.
I wonder if Senior there actually screws in that last panel on every one of those Brax pieces. I'm going to ask him that question if I ever bump into him.
Yeah, these Heinz has been slowly stepping away as Julian's been taking the reins over the last few years in there, but he's still around. He's never too far. So
there you go, Chris. We're gonna get to it right away. We're gonna set you up. We know you have a presentation, and we'll let you take it away. When we come back, we're gonna break that down and have a little discussion about it. Here we go.
Sounds good, Ben. So the one of the first things that we're going to kind of dive through here today is we're going to be talking about some of the different levels in the Audiotec Fischer brand. So we're going to start, we've got the Brax at the very top of the range, which is a hyper exclusive elite level product that is unmatched out there in the industry. We're going to touch on the Helix side of things, which covers off a massive range of different technologies, different formats, different fitments that are available. And then we've got the Match category as well. That's going to give you kind of more of an OEM integration type solution, ultra small footprints, high channel counts, lots of cool toys built in on that end. But before we get to that, the Audiotec Fischer side as a company, there's a lot of things that are going to factor into all three brands. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about DSP or amplifiers or speakers, anything that we build is going to follow a certain batch of criteria. The first, we are an ISO certified company. In the simplest way we can put that, we are basically tracking every single component that comes through our network. So whether it is ICs, resistors, diodes, LEDs, everything, every electronic component that we're using is monitored and controlled for quality control. That's one of the big benefits that we see down the road is when we're looking at things like reliability, we know that every little component has been managed and is built to the specification that we require it. It also allows us to go through and make sure that we've completely optimized internally when we're coming to things like tracking problems. If we ever do have an issue with a certain production run, we can easily look back and manage and keep an eye on exactly what that batch of product was and make sure that those entire situations are handled with quickly and efficiently. That ISO certification has led to a couple of other things, one being an OEM supplier. We do work for companies like Volkswagen and Volvo. We've actually got products that are in Volkswagen's own catalog, which is, to me, just a huge testament to what the team in Germany has accomplished. To have an aftermarket brand that is so trusted by a company like that is, there's nothing else like it. There's no other feeling of accomplishment out there that's going to match what something like that can carry. So supplying these manufacturers, like I said, is a testament to what the team is doing there. The other trick to that, though, is it also forces us into, or allows us to do some other things that carry through the aftermarket side. About half of our business is done in the OEM up front. The other half still follows those same design rules. all of our components, whether the OEM stuff like we do for those companies or the aftermarket stuff that we do here in our world through our retail proof of concept and our dealer partners throughout North America, these OEM components are automotive grade all the way through. So whether it's temperature, whether it's voltage stabilization, all of that kind of stuff is factored in, and make sure that these components are going to work as the factory parts would have in the cars that they're being installed into. There can't be a difference in experience for the end use consumer when you've designed and outfitted a system. These are premium luxury toys that we're adding into their cars. These aren't things that they require. So making sure they've got the best experience possible in there, and that having that automotive spec design from the ground up in every component is a huge factor in delivering that experience. All of our engineering happens in-house, and that's everything from designing our own boards for our amplifiers and our DSPs. The software that you see, that PC tool, the new latest version 5 was all designed in-house. All of our own algorithms that we're using for automatic EQ, auto time alignment, our real center channel up mixer, bass processing, all of those features are designed in-house by our own team. It's really cool because it gives us the versatility and the ability to turn the ship quickly when something changes or we see something that we want. The team is constantly in touch with end use consumers and dealers, whether they be through forums, through email, direct contact, people looking for specific features or solutions to problems that they're seeing in the bays or with certain cars. That small in-house control over all of that development lets us really react quickly. And that's one of the things that's actually led to another really cool thing that we do, which is we're a developmental partner for Texas Instruments. They've used us in a lot of different cases to help design products because of how quickly we can develop things. A couple of years ago, TI had approached the team in Germany with a new product that they needed an amplifier built to put it through its testing paces. And we went from the initial request to actually delivering the product back to TI in less than 4 weeks. So to go from ground up, from concept to design to sample to initial production on those things that quickly is absolutely insane. And again, just the efficiencies and the skill and talent and the passion in Germany towards these products and developing really opens up some cool capabilities. From there, we get into some of the products themselves. Let's kind of break out, those are the initial concepts, but as we get into the DSP side of things, the Helix, there's two different sides of it. One is the standalone DSP. One of the things that really put us on the map with this stuff. Our latest top of the range in the Helix brand, the DSP Ultra, AKM, D to A and A to D converters on those guys there. This is all Velvet sound stuff, so the top of the range as far as their automotive spec components go. 8 in, 12 out. This is a fully loaded, extremely high-end standalone DSP. This guy actually uses 2 separate DSP chips. That allows us to make sure that we're taking full advantage of everything that we make possible in these guys. The full suite of software, like I said, our real center up mixers and the automated tuning processes that are built in, our bass processing features that happen in real time based on the music and listening levels, not just blinders on things, but stuff that's actually looking at how the client is using your product in real time and optimizing that stuff on the fly. Making sure that we've got full high-res support for clients who want to use their high-res music catalog, take it from their home into their car. This device supports 32-bit DA converters and up to 96 kilohertz sampling rate on these guys. So tons and tons of information in there, providing what is without question one of the best sounding DSPs on the planet. From there, we've always got the option to step down. If you don't need the full 8 channels in and 12 out, the DSP 0.3S has been one of our best sellers. It gives you 6 in and 8 out, but still gives you a wide array of different inputs that are available for it. This guy actually has toslink and coax input, just like the Ultra does. Scales down the sampling a little bit, but still gives you all of the same algorithm and tuning capabilities that you get with the Ultra. When we look at all of these different products that we make that we're going to talk about today, our PC tool is the exact same process, the exact same workflow, the exact same basic functionality across the board. So when you're coming into these different cars, it doesn't matter if you're tuning a DSP Ultra with 12 channels or you're doing one of the simple match integration plug and play concepts in there. It's going to be the same workflow, and it's going to allow you to get through these things efficiently and effectively, and most importantly, repeatably. That .3S, as we scale to the little brother of that guy there, the DSP Mini Mark II. So this is a 4-in, 6-out. This is a great, simple interface on this guy, but still gives you a huge portion of those customizable features, like that center channel up mixer, our input signal analyzer that's available on all of these standalone devices. This now actually allows you to go through and measure input signals coming from your factory source. Check for things like all-pass filters, factory equalization, even time alignment that you can measure and correct in these devices without having to go to extra tools in the toolbox. There's no big setup on the bench beside you. We're not going through and making connections to one device to measure and then coming back to your audio system. You're connecting these guys and all of your measurement tools are built in. This is even all the way down in our DSP Mini. All pass filter correction, time alignment correction, frequency response correction. That's just on the input side. That's before we get to the real power on the output side, where we still have our center channel up mixer, where we still have our new automatic parametric equalization function, automatic time alignments. All of these kinds of things are available in all of these different DSPs that we were looking at. One of the other really cool things that we've got in all three of these guys is what we call our Helix extension card compatibility. We've got little input cards that will actually let you go through and add additional inputs to these devices. So we can add things like a high-res USB direct input. So if you've got an Estelle and Kearns player or a FiO or something like that that you want to run straight into it, even something as simple as an Android phone, an iPhone, a tablet, can all be run direct USB into the device. One thing that we do a lot of is classic cars and hot rods, where we don't have the option to go through. The client maybe doesn't want to cut the dash to put in a radio, wants to keep that factory look in there. We can actually add Bluetooth audio streaming to all of these devices through that extension card as well. So now in some cases, you can retain the factory radio. We did a classic Lincoln here at the shop a little while ago where the client had the original 8-track player in there with Lincoln's original demo 8-track cassette, and he wanted to keep that functional. So we were able to run that into the main inputs of our DSP, but then we were also able to go through and add our Bluetooth input as well at the same time. So not only did he have the functional original classic source in there, but he also had all of his modern tunes and connectivity he wanted on the phone side direct into his audio system. So you've really got a lot of versatility with these guys, and those things are available across the board in the entire DSP lineup. Now, one thing that's not on this list that everybody has been really excited about, including us, we've been chomping at the bit to get the new DSP Pro Mark III. So the DSP Pro has been the standalone DSP that has been the reference standard for an extremely long time. Every generation of the DSP Pro has won ISA awards. It's given the ability to go through and improve audio systems of all different shapes and sizes and values. It is phenomenal, and having this new version is absolutely awesome. So this slots in between the DSP Ultra and the DSP.3S. This is an 8-in, 10-out processor. This guy uses that same twin DSP design that we see on the DSP Ultra. So we've got phenomenal processing power in this thing to make sure that we have full resolution, 32-bit 96 kilohertz on this guy. We have the full PC tool suite, everything from virtual channels to real center to our tune EQ function, that parametric automatic equalization function. Everything is loaded into this guy on that side of things. This uses those same AKM Velvet Sound converters built into this guy, same as the Ultra uses on that side of things. So from a sound quality standpoint, this is going to be an incredible reference piece. It's going to give you a huge percentage of performance that you get with the DSP Ultra at a little bit more of a friendly price point. few less channels to manage on that side of things. So we've got big things expected for this guy here. This guy is also dual input, just like the Ultra is as well. So this has your high level and low level inputs. Those high level are up to 30 volts of input. So compatible with all of the newer modern amplified audio systems like BMW and Mercedes and Porsche, where we're seeing big numbers from the factory amplifiers. We've got the ability to integrate those low level inputs on these guys. Bluetooth, USB HEC card inputs available, Toslink in, and a digital coax in built in on these guys right out of the box. So in terms of integrating into your system, this is going to check nearly every feature you could hope for when it comes to integrating it. Once we get out of the amplified or out of the standalone DSP side, we get into the amplified DSP. So those are going to take a lot of those same features that we just talked about, but now it's going to add some power to them. Simple one-box solutions where we're moving everything in-house. We do a few different levels of these guys, starting from the M series. So the M series is a really versatile amplifier design. Comes in a couple of different chassis sizes and a couple of different formats. So there's both a 4-channel and a 6-channel, as well as a couple mono amplifiers. But we've gone through and actually taken the 4-channel and the 6-channel and built those also with DSP integrated into the system as well. So now you can go through and use that as the heart of the system and add and build your client's dream system one step at a time. Continuous forward flow, not pulling stuff out, not, well, take that one out, sell him a new one, that one sits in his garage. You now have a continuous upgrade path to really build some special stuff. That 6-channel and the 4-channel use the same DSP. It is a fully loaded Audiotec Fischer DSP in there. Again, virtual channels, center channel up mixing, all the automated tuning features, all of that kind of stuff is built in on these guys. It's a 10-channel DSP. So 6 channels of input, a total of 10 channels of DSP controlled output. So that 4-channel has 6 channels of preamp output available for it to run to. Maybe another 4-channel, maybe a 6-channel, maybe a 6-channel with 2 of them bridged, and a stereo pair for additional mono amplifiers. Totally customizable. Those amplifiers, the M series, are bridgeable as well, so you've got a little bit of extra versatility for building big power systems when you want to, and having just the ability to totally tweak this thing for whatever vehicle you're working with. Once we move up out of the M's, we move to an even more efficient design. We move into the V series. These guys here are completely integrated. There's 2 different amplifier options in this series. You've got the V8, which is an 8-channel amplifier with a 10-channel DSP. Again, the full suite, everything top to bottom in the Audiotec Fischer toolbox. And then there's also the V12. This is by far one of the most versatile amplifiers going right now. These guys here have some really cool concepts built into them. The first of which is they have an active or a analog input, high-level analog input for every amplified output channel that is built in on these guys. So that V8 amplifier has 8 channels of high-level in, 8 channels of amplified outputs. So you can do what's called a 1-to-1 system design. So when you've got cars that are premium amplified audio systems, they've got factory up mixers, they've got all pass filters or OEM time alignment built in place. They've got a whole lot of processing already in place in there that you want to be able to retain to ensure that that client is still getting the same type of experience that he was getting out of the vehicle before. We now have the ability to go 1 channel in, scale up the power, tweak the equalization, and then pass that back out the amplifier without having to do things like summing signals or limiting channels or skipping channels, just trying to make projects work. That V12 has been an absolute lifesaver for us here on the retail experience, making sure that when we're working on cars that say have parking sensors that only play through certain speakers. Some of these newer European vehicles, the rear parking sensors will only come through the rear speakers, but they've even gone one step further where the right side parking sensor only plays through the right side rear speaker. Those are things that if you're using summing based amplifiers or you're trying to band-aid signals back together, those are features that that client is going to lose. And when they've got 6 figures tied up in a car, that's never a good path to go down if you can avoid it. So having 1-to-1 routing with these V-series amplifiers opens up a ton of versatility to making sure that you're giving the client the best possible experience. If you're dealing with a car that doesn't require one-to-one, say you've got a preamp available so you can just run a simple toss-link signal in, these guys give you the versatility to totally customize the system. That V12 is 12 channels of amplifier, 14 channels of DSP, so there's a stereo pair available to come out to run to a secondary mono amplifier, which opens up that V12 to do some really cool stuff inside the cabin. Front three-way system, rear active two-way, two-way active center channel, plus that separate subwoofer mono amplifier. You can go the other way if you're going a little bit simpler. One of the cool things about these amplifiers is with our step-up power supply that we use, creates an ultra-efficient process, and that power supply is designed to actually be able to feed the outputs whatever power is required. When there's power not being used by certain channels, as a prime example, if we were running an active system and we've got tweeters, those tweeters aren't going to be using 75 or 100 watts. They're going to be using 5, maybe 10 watts a channel. And that mid-range is going to be using 15 to 20 watts a channel. That leftover power that those channels aren't using can basically be rerouted to other outputs on the unit. So now when we're looking at an amplifier like a V12, you can actually start taking channels and using those to run dual voice coil woofers. We take one channel per voice coil on a dual 2-ohm sub, and we can actually open up almost 350 watts of RMS power per channel pair. So we've got our front three-way, we've got our rear speakers, we've got our center. That still leaves that stereo pair, 2 more channels to run our woofer on the back end. We do an F150 system in our Systems by MSC program that actually runs completely off that V12. Front two-way, rears, and center. So that gives us 7 channels, and we take 4 of the remaining channels to run a pair of dual 2-ohm woofers underneath the back seat. So now in one amplifier that's roughly 11 inches by 11 inches, we're running about 75 watts a channel through our speakers up in the main portion of the cabin, and almost 650 watts on the back end to 2 vented 10s under the back seat. So that tiny little amplifier has a ton of get up and go to go through and integrate into these vehicles and create solutions in typically difficult to deal with cars or in atypical ways. So really opens up some cool system design concepts that you can dig into. Once we move up from the V series, the next step moves to the P series. Now this is the big boy system. These guys, the P6 DSP Mark II has been around for quite some time, and it was definitely time for an overhaul. The DSP technology has advanced far beyond what that previous unit had released. It was an ISO winner back in about 2015, so it was definitely due for some love, and love it got. This new amplifier has gone through and pushed this platform absolutely to the limit. It is why we call this now P6 DSP Ultimate. This is 100% optimized in every possible application of this in this platform. The entire board has been redesigned. Not a single component remains as it was before. We have scaled up power. We have scaled up efficiency on the system itself. We've even scaled up the DSP side. This uses that same twin DSP concept that we were talking about in the DSP Ultra. This gives us a 24-bit 96 kilohertz native processing on this thing. The full DSP suite, improved output IC section, the actual amplifier stage of this unit has been overhauled entirely. Reduced distortion, increase signal to noise ratio, and absolutely scale up the audible performance of this amplifier in every direction. But it wasn't just the P6 Ultimate that got overhauled in the lineup. The other side of this amplifier is that it was actually, with that DSP side of things, we've scaled up the outputs. Initially, previous gen was a 6-in, 8-out platform. This is now a 6 amplified channel, 12-channel DSP on this guy. This has been designed to build monster systems. These 6 channels are 120 by 6, but then gives us 4 channels of low-level output to run to secondary amplifiers, and then gives us another stereo digital processed output. So every one of those outputs runs through the DSP and is designed to work with the brand new P2 Mark II and the P1 Mark II. Even those guys have been overhauled to improve power, improve performance, and bring this whole package to another level. So when you start thinking about what can be designed in this concept, even that trio of amplifiers, 120 by 6, 500 by 2, and 1500 by 1, in a chassis size that is about 12 inches by 12 inches each. So when you start thinking about what's possible mounting up underneath the rear deck of a sedan, back wall of a pickup truck, there is not going to be much that can compete with this in terms of power, performance, and sound quality in this kind of a footprint. Once that you factor in the sheer size of this thing and what it can accomplish at the same time, there is nothing else out there that's going to do what this does. As we move on from there, we start to look at some of the cool new Match products that are available. The first is the Up8 DSP. This is a really cool little piece here. This guy is going to now give us our 6 channels in, 8 channels out of staggered power. This guy gives us 6 by 65 and a 2 by 160. So another really versatile amplifier that's going to allow you to go through and integrate into different vehicles. Really small chassis size on these guys is going to let you go through and tuck this away, whether it be in a floorboard, behind a quarter panel trim. And a lot of these newer cars, we actually tuck these guys right up inside the dashes of the new 4Runners, right beside the radio on the passenger side. There's a nice little gap for that to live, so it doesn't compromise space for the client and how they're going to use the vehicle. When you look at how you can upgrade those types of systems, especially when you factor in Match's plug-and-play concept, where we've got harnessing that will allow us to integrate into a ton of different vehicles, whether they be Japanese, domestic, or a lot of the new European cars as well, including BMW's new Ram platform and the new Mercedes systems, including M-Bucks. So now we can go through and actually tie into these cars quickly and efficiently. We're not worried about chasing down polarities on connectors. We're not worried about which channels do we need. We're actually able to take all of those signals, run them into these Match products, this Up8 and the Up10 big brother to it, and go through and integrate into these things in a better way than we've ever done before. Modest power available on these guys allows us to work with factory speakers to create a night and day listening experience, but also build a platform for that second step when that client goes, yeah, you know what, I love this, this was awesome, but now I'm ready for the next level. I want to push this above and beyond. A simple speaker upgrade. Match has a plug-and-play option for a huge chunk of those cars, including BMW and Mercedes, pretty much every fitment available for those guys. And now you can go through and really start to build special systems while being ultra efficient in the shop, not taking hours and hours to build baffles, not taking days and days to tune and engineer systems. Having something that you can go to as a repeatable platform to attack these cars and build something that's really cool. These guys here also have a additional analog input card available. We talked a little bit about that input slot for USB and Bluetooth connectivity. The Up8 and the Up10 also have a 2-channel high-level analog input board that you can add into the mix. So now you can take this Up8 that is normally 6 inputs and actually make it an 8-input amplifier. Now you've got the versatility to do that one-to-one routing, retain every channel that's in the car, retain the factory processing, put your signature sound on the car, give the client more energy, give them a little bit more volume, and deliver something that is demonstrably better than where that car started from. Now, the Match line is obviously a lot more than one amplifier in there. I had mentioned a little bit about the Up10, the bigger brother. That guy goes to 8 channels of input, 65 watts per channel, and additional 260 watt channels. So if you're retaining that factory system, those factory 8 channels, it still gives you those 2 extra channels to run a high power mid-bass pair. Or you can go the other way and look at adding one of those dual 2-ohm subwoofer systems to it. Use those 2 high power channels in unison to drive that woofer and really push a good quality subwoofer in the back. Something like our K10 Slim gives you a nice about 3-inch mounting depth woofer, works sealed, works vented, but that power that's coming off the back end of these amplifiers, the Up8, the Up10, the V series, the P series amplifiers, even the M series amplifiers, 2 channels off those guys are enough to get this thing right to peak excursion and optimize output, so you can deliver systems that are highly efficient, don't take up a lot of space, but put a lot of fun factor in front of the client. The rest of the match lineup, the new PP86 DSP Mark II. This is another plug-and-play concept amplifier that was hugely popular, but definitely due to get some of the new DSP tech built into it. These guys are getting you into that real center, that center channel up mixer. We're getting you into the ability to go one-to-one routing to retain these features. That plug-and-play concept can be used as a 5-channel type design. The Match series of subwoofers use quad coil designs. So that PP86 would actually allow you to run a front and rear system, and then you take the remaining 4 channels, running 1 per coil to those subwoofers, and again create north of 300 watts RMS of power into our dual 6-inch subwoofer configuration, our single 8 or our single 10 package. So again, you can create a highly efficient, small footprint system. It's really going to put a smile on the customer's face. The PP62 is the classic of the bunch. This is a nice little plug-and-play concept amplifier. Ultra efficient on these guys. This guy runs full power at about 50 watts per channel at 2 ohm and about 160 watts on a subwoofer side of things. It's actually able to be run off of the factory radio circuit. So this system T-harnesses in, pulls its power right from the radio harness, feeds the amplifier, and can create a system that is going to allow you to fully tune and dial the system in. You're still going to get full equalization and full time alignment and active crossover control with the system. So we've got that client who's looking for something that's just a little bit better. Maybe they've got the base audio and they wanted it, wish they could have got the premium audio system, but couldn't quite get there. This solution is more than capable from a tonality standpoint, especially once it's tuned and dialed in, and then from a power standpoint gives them that premium performance that they're looking for, but allows you to get something into the car very quickly without taking up any space or compromising anything there. The next big one in this lineup is actually the small one. This is the M5.4. This is a little cigarette pack sized amplifier that allows you to really get into the tight spaces in these cars, mounting amplifiers up in behind the glove box and inside the dashes where you've got no space to work with. This thing is about 3 inches by 4 inches in total footprint space, 4 channels of input, 5 channels of amplified output. But the cool thing here is there's actually 4 channels of preamp output, DSP controlled preamp output as well. So of course, with a little amplifier like that, we don't want to be partnering that with a giant mono amplifier. So we've even got a little partner for it called the M2.1 amp. This is a non-DSP based unit. It's 120 by 2 at 4 ohm. Or what makes it really special is there's actually a jumper inside that allows you to reconfigure the amplifier. It's not bridgeable. It actually changes it into a true mono amplifier. So now the system can operate at up to 400 watts by 1 at a 2 ohm load. So this is a really cool little package where you take that same chassis size, that 3 inch by 4 inch roughly, and that first one allows you to run, say, a set of tweeters, your rears, and that 5th channel to drive a center. You can then take the M2.1 to put 120 watts into your mid-bass drivers. You take another M2.1 amp, run that in mono mode on your subwoofer system. And now in a box that you've got that sits about this big, generates a huge amount of power to drive a full system, and you've taken up almost no space in the car. So the Match lineup really gives a lot of versatility and allows a lot of creativity for the team designing the system to absolutely achieve what the client's looking for without having to make huge compromises that we're used to when it comes to things like space and current consumption and heat and all of that kind of stuff that really hangs up a lot of system designs. Now, as we move on from that side of things, we move to the opposite end of the spectrum, from the smallest DSP product in the lineup to one of the most advanced. Now, Brax DSP is a ground up piece that we had designed. We had a vision for what a DSP needed to be if it was going to wear the Brax name. That's something we take very seriously and not just another product that's out there. This was something that we worked very closely with AKM on when it came to designing the digital signal path through this thing, and how are we going to make sure that the audio signal coming into it and going out of it is as flawless as physically possible. One of the cool aspects to that was giving more control to the system design of the unit itself. we're used to dealing with analog outputs in most cases, but we knew there could be a better way out there. So when it came to the Brax lineup and how we were going to manage this, we had to build something that allowed versatility for us to scale that process up. We've got lots of our clients that want to use this guy analog out with a variety of different amplifiers like our graphic series or C amplifiers. But we also needed something that could work with our new technologies that was coming in our matrix, the MX4 Pro. So we actually designed this DSP to be modular. These guys are built to order. So when you as a DSP, Brax DSP owner or soon-to-be owner requests one of these, there's a form you fill out that actually goes through and it lets you spec it how you want, which analog inputs, which digital inputs, which analog or digital outputs, and these things are built to spec on that side of things. The reason we've done that is our MX4 Pro has analog inputs, but it also has both digital coax and Toslink inputs as well to allow us to maintain the absolute maximum in terms of fidelity and control. One of the big cool technologies that we developed specifically for this platform is called DieSac. What DieSac does is it allows us to not only send audio signal over digital connections like Toslink, but it also allows us to send a digital control signal over that same connection. So now, when you've got a system like this, you have a digital audio feed coming into your DSP. It's going to go through your processor. It's going to handle all of your equalization and time alignment and all of that kind of stuff as you need to. That same digital audio feed is going to be handed down to the MX4 Pro that's going to amplify that thing. But traditionally, when you wanted to adjust volume in the digital domain, it means removing bits. We're pulling information out. We're compressing that signal down is the only way to do it. When we're talking about the world's most elite audio systems, that's not an acceptable solution. So I had mentioned this DieSac, this digital control signal that we're able to transmit as well. So now when you grab your director or your conductor at the front end and turn that volume signal down, it tells the DSP, which then relays a signal to the MX4 Pro, which then turns down your audio signal at the end in the analog stage. So this DieSac signal that we use is our own proprietary technology that makes sure this system, when used in conjunction, Brax DSP to MX4 Pro, maintains the absolute best fidelity physically possible across the board. And like everything else that we do, these are technologies that are only available because we do this stuff in-house from top to bottom. And this to me is a testament to why this company is so special and how they refuse to rest on their laurels. They have to be pushing, because this is a technology that does not exist anywhere else in the audio industry that I've ever been able to find. So when we look at these guys here, 7 years of production, or 7 years of design and engineering, I should say, is what went into this product, and that is the kind of technology that we're able to get and extract out of these products. When we're looking, especially with something that carries that Brax badge on it, nothing but the best will do, and that is how we have to do it. So a really cool product, a really cool technology, stuff that we see spread out across the entire mix really allows us to do some cool stuff in cars to make sure that everything sounds the part. So other than that, Ben, if you have any, you've got some questions, stuff you want to go over, let's dive into it.
Well, let's go ahead and do that. First of all, great presentation, Chris. Lots of great toys coming out, by the way. I didn't realize there was that much stuff, but yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and take down this presentation and dive into these products a little bit. I guess I want to start the conversation with Match. Let's start with Match. It's kind of like the integration kind of series from Audiotec Fischer, right? Small footprint. Lots of different options, DSP integrated, harnesses. I'm happy that you mentioned that as well. And, when it comes to dealers, right, they're always going to be faced with unique situations whereby space is going to be a constraint, integrating with so many different channels sometimes, depending on the vehicle you're working on. From your experience now, where are dealers finding the most success? If you had to choose maybe one or two examples when it comes to Match.
So the biggest successes come in from the up to this point, the Up 7, which is being replaced by the Up 8, and then the up 10. These are super small footprint amplifiers. I mean, the up 10, I've actually got one handy right here. So this little guy here. So this is 8 channels in, 10 channels out, 8 by 65, 160 by 2, plus an additional output. So this gives you a huge amount of versatility in terms of integrating into cars, whether they have OEM sources and you're going high level in, whether you're using Toslink input from a preamp like a pack interface or a Mo bridge or anything like that. In a lot of cases, guys are using these even with aftermarket radios, using the high level outputs to go into these, because these amplifiers are still so capable but so versatile. The up 7 is a prime example. Like I said, the up 8 coming to replace has been an absolute killer for Porsche. We do these guys. This actually fits in the factory locations of 996, 997 cars. So the factory amplifier comes off. The new amplifier bolts up in its place. All of your input lines are there. All of your output lines are there. The preamp signal to run to the factory Bose subwoofer system is right there. The factory amplifier circuit on those cars is a 30 amp circuit. So even the factory power and ground you get to use with these guys. So you can look at these cars where you've got a client who's coming in and saying, hey, I've got this 2008 Porsche. I love the car, but I've got no connectivity. I don't have my tunes for my phone. I don't have CarPlay. I don't have Bluetooth calling. I need this stuff. Well, traditionally, a lot of guys would go through and use a amplifier retention module. Well, now we're starting to see a huge percentage of guys shift to, instead of retaining the Bose amp where the guy gets the connectivity, but he's spending, $700, $800, $1,000 retaining that box, keeping him in the same sound quality that he's had in the car for 15 years, and putting that towards an amplifier upgrade. So a few $100 extra, and now he's got sound that exceeds any new Porsche on the road. He's got all of the modern connectivity of a new Porsche on the road, and he's done it in a way that is completely integrated into the system and hasn't compromised anything in terms of space. We haven't had to cut off any of the factory wiring or anything like that. You've got something that functions and acts as if it was OEM, but gives him everything he could be hoping for on the other side of things. So those are the kinds of system designs that the Match system has really opened up options for dealers.
Not to mention that it'll fit, and let's no-brainer. BMW obviously is the other one. I would say that probably is
absolutely. Yeah, the plug-and-play concepts from BMW and Mercedes with direct replacement speaker solutions, T-harnessing into the systems. I mean, the up 7 BMW that's been around actually includes the amplifier bracket to secure it in place.
At the exact same location as the BMW amplifier.
Exactly, 110 mil bolt, and depending on the car, I mean, in the SUVs where the side panel drops down, that system can be integrated into the physical work is done in under a half an hour, no problem. And then from there, it's just tuning it up and dialing it in. So you can really make big improvements with those packages, especially as we see more and more harnessing coming from more and more vehicles. There's some really cool stuff coming down the pipe on that end as well.
Cool. Let's jump to Helix P6 DSP Ultimate. So, the word ultimate, that's an interesting word. Ultimate means a lot of things. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. When you say ultimate, I know you went through your presentation and you pointed out a couple of things. Let's be clear. And this is, I think, the point I want dealers to know the most. This is the best of the best that Audiotec Fischer has to offer. This is, literally, other than the moniker in P6, there is nothing else that is the same carrying over from its previous generation. I just wanted to highlight that and explain to me I guess we're running out of time soon, but I really want you to drive home the message of how ultimate this is. I mean, if you have a customer looking for the ultimate, this may be for them.
Yeah, the P6 Ultimate was, P6 Mark II was one of the most awarded amplifiers out there. It was an ISA winner, tons of magazine awards for it, tons of awards out in the field, talking from a competition standpoint. This was, without question, the amplifier that drove high-end amplified DSP, and now we've basically rebuilt it from the ground up with everything that we've learned in the 8 years that it's been since that thing was last revisited. There is nothing else out there like this. If you want to go look at it from a specification standpoint, if you want to get it up and put it on the bench and measure, listen to this thing up against anything else out there, the last gen rivaled high-end Class A, B skateboard-sized amplifiers and had DSP built in and was 90% efficient. This thing is now pushing all of that to bounds that the other one couldn't have even imagined. The new DSP chipset that's built into these guys here, the new DSP tuning tools that are built in, like I said, the real center up mixer, all of our auto time alignment measurements, that impulse response time measurement setup, parametric automatic equalization, the additional outputs, higher NDA converters and A to D converters, more processing power, more stabilization, just everything has been ramped up to the absolute limit. This is the one to have. There is no question about that.
Ultimate. Absolutely. All right, some big questions to round out this session, Chris. In your opinion, do you feel that Audiotec Fischer has been paving the road when it comes to DSP integrated amplifier solutions, and why?
Yeah, without question. I mean, this has been a category we have been extremely strong in for a lot of years. One of the early images in the presentation, we've had 12 ISA awards in 10 years. DSP electronics is what we do. Amplifier technologies is what we do. I mean, the whole start to this company was all about power supply technology and generating stable, great, high efficient power sources in cars. Heinz started all those years ago because as a high-end home audio guy, was talking to friends about their car audio systems and was just devastated by what was actually being accomplished in the hardware that was there. That's where the Brax cap started, was creating more stable power sources. And between our conjunctions, or between our amplifier sides, the power side of things, and what is without question the most highly developed DSP platform in the industry, there's no question there's very few people who can do what we do in terms of quality of setup, efficiency of setup, and simplicity of setup. In addition, with the sheer feature set that's there, the up mixers, all pass filters, the ability to do graphic or parametric equalization. You can look back through the history. Everybody has been chasing things that Audiotec Fischer has been doing and has been doing for years. But that's part of the fun for us as we continue to put out cool products, and we hope to keep putting out cooler and cooler products. And by the time we unveil the curtain on what we're doing today, by the time everybody else gets caught up, we'll have already moved on to the next thing. So,
well, it's interesting that you worded it that way, because my final question to you, Chris, tons of new pieces. Of course, congratulations to the entire Audiotec Fischer team for this development and these launches. What does this represent, though, in the bigger picture? DSP is not going away. It's only getting more important, more relevant, every day. I mean, you're hearing shops saying, we do not do systems that leave the bay without DSP. Like, this is the type of, commentary that's starting to become commonplace, right? So What does this mean now for the future of DSP and Audiotec Fischer with these products and beyond?
So from a DSP standpoint, we are going to continue to evolve our PC tool to make it easier to use and easier to manage. Audiotec Fischer, as well as MSC, of course, as you saw Larry earlier out there this week, doing his tours and trainings and being hands-on and face-to-face with people, sharing that education of how to integrate into vehicles, how to diagnose them so you know what tools you need to have access to, making these processes easier and more efficient. Because like you said, Ben, these things aren't going away. Channel counts in factory systems are only getting higher. That's not stopping anytime soon. All of these cars, every single one of these premium amplified vehicles out there right now, and even a lot of the base audio cars are using DSP of some sort, whether it's something as simple as an all-pass filter, or if it's equalization, or if it's a full upmix, time-aligned, all of these technologies that these guys are using. There is something happening there, and in cars where we're using preamps and putting a 4-channel and a mono in there, or a 5-channel amplifier, you've limited not only the potential performance, but you've actually reduced the functionality. That client had DSP in those systems to start with. So you took his DSP and you put it on the shelf. We have to be able to, if we're really going to be improving these system designs and giving clients a better listening experience than they had before, DSP is the absolute key, and in my opinion, the only way to do that. So making sure that our tools are giving dealers everything they need to do it quickly and efficiently, so that they can be effective in delivering that end result is where we're going to continue to go. We're going to make the tools easier to use, and we're going to continue to put more education out there for them to use, to take advantage of that, to hopefully provide everything they need to rock and roll and create special experiences.
The days of a flat frequency response and 4 channels from factory are about as done as Axl Rose's voice. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Guys, thanks for hanging in with us this entire time. It was a great presentation from Chris. If you're interested in finding out more from the entire Audiotec Fischer family of products, they have a master website you can go to. It's audiotec-fischer.com. There you can select to find out information about Brax, about Helix, and about Match, whatever it is you're looking for. And if you're a dealer in North America, yes, North America, Canada, or US, get a hold of the team at MSC America, msc-america.com. They've got an office in Calgary as well as in Arizona. And if you ring them up, I'm sure they'll make the time to set you guys up. Chris, this was a really educated one. And I want to remind our listeners, tune back in a couple of weeks. We're going to be back with the team at MSC where Chris is going to walk through the new PC Tool 5, right? Did I get that right? It's the version 5 of the software?
Yep, version 5, the latest and greatest.
There we go. Thanks a lot, Chris. Talk to you in a bit.
Thank you, Ben.
Take care. All right. Hope you enjoyed that one. More DSP action on the way, because this entire month of July, we're going through what we call the DSP sessions. We're proud enough to say that we literally have every single brand in the game presenting here on CMA Networks right through till Thursday, July 28th. Every single day, another brand for you to discover. And if you want to see more videos like this, man, me and MSC, we've done a lot of them. Check it out on our website, cmanetworks.com. Hundreds of videos to choose from. Search for them by their favorite brand, by category, or maybe by trainer. Check out my man, Chris Van Rye. He's got his own profile on there, and you can see every video that we've done together. Thanks for tuning in to this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down. I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?